Boom. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to a very exciting fragrance review yet again here on the YouTube channel. I had mentioned last week that had some stuff coming up with Sensual Obsessions that I was going to review and share with you all, and that has now arrived and is here for tonight's review. Sensual Obsessions has just dropped their new Cheap Thrill Edition line of fragrances featuring 5 total different scents, and he was so kind enough to send one of those scents out to 5 fragrance YouTubers in the community. And so we're each reviewing a different one and kind of giving our impressions, but he's also included some samples from the other fragrances in the line, and also some never before seen unreleased Cheap Thrill Edition fragrances, never smelled, never seen by the public eye. We'll also be able to give our first impressions on those as well. So a lot of ground to cover tonight. Super excited, super blessed to be able to do this. I just want to thank Kevin once again. This is honestly a fragrance dream come true, getting to review fragrances, and especially high quality fragrances of that. And so thank you, Kevin, for hooking me up so we can kind of put the viewers on. And I'm excited for this evening's review. So let's just jump right in with the presentation. Now, I will give a disclaimer. This is not my first time opening the fragrance. I've given this several different wears to just have an overall better idea of the smell and the performance and different things like that. But as you can tell, we got Sensual Obsessions Beach Bum, which is their afternoon swim edition from Louis Vuitton. Super cool packaging. As you saw, I love even some of the bag and the outer wrapping that it came in. But even this bottle, I mean, this is the first thing that caught my eye even weeks ago when I heard this line was releasing. And I just love it. The cap's got some heaviness and weight to it. And of course, some really good stuff here on the outer layer. We'll jump more specifically into a closer up view of the presentation in a moment. But these fragrances, in a general sense, are supposed to be kind of the perfect line between affordability and quality. It's said that these are slightly above their former bronze line while also kind of staying right at that exact match fragrance quality. So it's kind of right in the middle of those two lines. And some scents in the regular line rival the quality of this edition, making an excellent choice for those seeking high quality scents at a budget friendly price. So I kind of think that's what you'll kind of be getting here with these fragrances in this line. There's Cognac Delight, which is Angel Share. Of course, I'm doing Beach Bum, Afternoon Swim. Tigar Obsession, of course, that's Tigar. Absolute King, Absolute Venice. And then Sicily, which is Xerjoff's Naxos. So those are the 5 fragrances in the line. So let's get a more up-close look at the packaging and the bottle design. All right, so let's get really close up with this presentation here. Obviously got a really nice weighted cap up top, some quality stuff right there. And then even the bottle of fragrance, really nice colored juice, almost like a teal kind of greenish blue there. That stuff's pretty unique as well. And then, of course, you got the Beach Bum Cheap Thrill Edition, Sensual Obsessions logo in the top right. You obviously got the name of the house, the state that they're from, which is Florida, and then a Parfum Extrait, which is 100 ml. But honestly, really nice presentation. Once again, we'll kind of twist off the cap and push it down here. Really good stuff, especially for the price, which we'll get into in a moment. But honestly, I'm a big fan of this new Cheap Thrill presentation. All right, so we've just seen this one up close, and let's compare and contrast here with the old bottle design, or their usual line, which comes in this bottle style here. I've always been a fan of these. I think the bottle's really classy, really well put together. It's got even the name of the fragrance on the side. This is Modern Gentleman, which is PDM's Haultain. I just like how professional and well put together this looks, but I love this line especially as well. Of course, you know, the home state of Florida, as I just mentioned a moment ago, and just the concentration, the logo, the Cheap Thrill Edition. I love this colored juice and the cap. Honestly, a really big fan of the presentation, especially for the price you're getting at, which we'll get into in a moment. But let's jump into the good stuff here. Let's get into the smell of this Sensual Obsessions Beach Bum. Of course, if you're familiar with Afternoon Swim, you'll kind of know what to expect here, but let's share some sprays together. Woo! That is a juicy atomizer. That is actually really nice. Okay. I mean, right off the bat, this is exactly par for the course of what you would expect for a afternoon swim type fragrance. Now, this is not an exact match. They do have exact match of this fragrance, but this is not an exact match. But honestly, I think it is pretty close here, at least with this Cheap Thrill Edition. You get notes of bergamot, mandarin, orange, ginger, and ambergris. Of course, many people know this to be a really citrus-heavy fragrance, and that is exactly what it is. Immediately just smelling this, I'm immediately taken to a pool or a beach somewhere, and I'm kind of sitting poolside or beachside, just enjoying my time on a nice summer vacation. Just all the citruses and everything you're getting here. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But let me make mention of this kind of citrus that you get, because this is not your typical bergamot, mandarin, orange, and ginger opening. There's some fragrances you'll smell that have kind of a zesty and almost a pop of citrus at the top. And maybe there's even some other fragrances like Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Forever that has a ripe or rindy citrus that it's almost a tartness off the top, almost kind of a leaning slightly sour grapefruit, at least in that fragrance. This citrus, though, is not what I get at all. Honestly, to me, I get some sugary, fresh, uplifting, and energizing citrus. It's almost like you took bergamot, mandarin, and some orange, and you sprinkled some sugar on top of that and put it in a bottle. At least that's what I'm getting here from the opening. It's a sugary kind of sweetness, but it's really inoffensive, mass appealing. I've let several people smell this already, and they love the opening of this fragrance. Really grabs your attention, and it is a really pleasant citrus and to smell, and I would say it's a very versatile one in that as well. Giving this some more smell, though, as it kind of dries down, you'll get through the mid some more of that ginger and ambergris, but it really doesn't lose the citrus. It kind of keeps that fresh, sugary sweetness from the top. It maintains it throughout the entire life of the fragrance. So you always have some of this citrus to cling to and look forward to. And it honestly just smells like a aquatic vacation. If I'm at Myrtle Beach, if I'm in Charleston, or maybe I'm poolside somewhere swimming in the middle of summer, this is exactly what I kind of get for that. So honestly, a really nice and pleasant smell. But let's just jump right into the price. Of course, the Cheap Thrill Edition is the balance between affordability and quality. So this 100 ml size bottle comes in at $39.99. Honestly, unbeatable pricing, and especially in the world we live in with inflation and prices getting more and more. Of course, most designer and even clone fragrances today don't get under $85 or $90. So to get a 100 ml fragrance with this packaging, with this bottle style for $39.99, super good stuff. And honestly, if you're comparing it to the original Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim, it's a tenth of the price. $330 for the original Afternoon Swim, $39.99 for Beach Bum. So really great price. And for the quality that we've gotten so far up to this fragrance, I think it is a great deal. Now, you start getting into the performance and the longevity, which I will spend some time discussing here, because that seems to be people's biggest knock with the original Afternoon Swim, that it's one of the best scent profiles in the Louis Vuitton line, but it just doesn't last and stay around very long. So that's why I wanted to open this ahead of time, give it some wears, and kind of get a feel for it, because the performance and longevity, I know, will be something that you guys are going to be very curious about. Of course, a scent profile like this, a super fresh, citrusy, sweet, kind of summertime fragrance, it's not going to last 15 hours with 5 feet of projection. This is not Dior Sauvage Elixir. This is not Acqua di Gio Elixir or anything of that matter. It is a very bright, fresh, and sweet scent profile, which those never go into the 14 or 15 hour mark. So don't go into it expecting some crazy beast mode fragrance. But after wearing this several times, I get about 7.5 hours of longevity on my skin, about 1.5 feet of projection in the opening. And then after several hours, probably around that 5 or 6 hour mark, is when it gets to around maybe a foot or half a foot. And then after 7 hours, it's kind of a sin scent. But it does kind of settle down to that sugary citrus with the mandarin and the ginger. And even some of the ambergris starts to come in a lot in the dry down as well. So it's a really pleasant scent profile that hangs around for, practically a full work day, 7.5 hours. I can wear it. People can still notice me at the very end of the day. And truthfully, I think that's really good for a summertime fragrance because you're typically not going to be out and about for 12, 13 hours needing to announce yourself every time you come into a room. Now, I will say with this one, and I kind of use this as a general rule of thumb, if you absolutely want it to project out, I wouldn't spray 1 or 2 sprays. I typically always go about 5 or 6 of my fragrances. And with that kind of similar spraying pattern here, this stuff works really nice. Really good in the air, but it's even better on skin in my opinion. And lasts, I think, a pretty solid amount of time. Taking into consideration the actual fragrance, especially Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim, and the price you're getting it for, I think the longevity and the performance and the quality far exceeds the $39.99 price mark, which is always a plus. So truthfully, I really am a big fan of Beach Bum from Sensual Obsessions. I think they really hit it out of the park with this one. Got a few more minutes left here. Just want to kind of go through and look at some of these samples here from the rest of the line. Of course, Beach Bum, Absolute King, which is Absolute Venice, Cognac Delight, Sicily, Tigar Obsession, and Dinner Jacket, which I believe that might be some YSL Tuxedo, but let's just go through here at the very end and let's just give each of these some sprays to give you kind of a better idea of the entire line. Oh my goodness. Oh man, we start out with an absolute heater. Absolute King. Obviously, Absolute Venice is $600+, incredibly expensive fragrance. But the citrus and the pineapple is done so nice here. Honestly, great Creed dupe and cologne if you're a big fan of the Advenice line, especially for Absolute Advenice. Let's do Cognac Delight. Of course, this is Angel Share. Oh, yeah. That typical sweet, kind of boozy, tobacco-y, apple pie kind of vibe that you get from Angel Share. Oh, man. This is another good one as well. I'm going to be honest. I've never been a big fan of Angel Share. That might be a pretty unpopular thing to say as a fragrance YouTuber. But, man, this stuff is nice. It really does have an apple pie kind of vibe, and that's kind of the leading notes here that I'm getting on the top. Honestly, really good stuff. And, of course, I encourage you all to go to Sensual Obsessions website and on their Instagram and kind of check out some of these in-depth reviews from some of these other YouTubers. People like Garrett from Black Box Fragrances, good friend of mine's doing these. So you'll want to hear what they have to say, of course. But this is Xerjoff's Naxos. Okay, the Sicilias I talked about, you're getting a tobacco, a lot of honey, a lot of lavender. I mean, that's pretty par for the course. Canyon and I actually smelled this one recently in Neiman Marcus. And I'm going to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Xerjoff fragrances either. But honestly, like with the Angel Share, that is a really pleasant scent profile. And it's not an exact match, but it takes the fragrance in a way that is, I think, mass appealing for a lot of people. But 2 more here. We'll go through these briefly. Tigar Obsession. Tigar is one of the best grapefruit fragrances ever made. Oh, my goodness. You get a lot of that grapefruit, a lot of ambroxan, kind of some aquatic freshness there in the top as well. Some honey. Tigar is such a great fragrance. It's so royally expensive, so I can never go out and buy a full bottle of it. But honestly, this Tigar Obsession will have to get some wears because that is really, really nice. Finally, let's save the best for last. For those of you that stuck around this long, you'll get to enjoy and hear about Dinner Jacket, which is YSL's Tuxedo. This is not currently, as I'm recording this, available to be purchased. This is an unreleased fragrance. Maybe previewing something in the future. They might come out with this in the later editions of the Cheap Thrill line. But, oh, man. That right there, I know the name's Dinner Jacket, but that is a suit and tie fragrance. If I'm going out somewhere nice, I'm going to dress up and I'm going to put that fragrance on. Oh my goodness. Mass appealing, super sweet. A lot going on here, but YSL Tuxedo is a great scent profile as is. And that is a great Cheap Thrill edition. So maybe you guys need a comment if you want to see that released down in the future. That might have to happen, but Dinner Jacket, that is a really nice dupe of YSL's Tuxedo. So kind of closing thoughts here as we close. Once again, I just want to thank Kevin and everybody at Essential Obsessions for doing this. I'm super blessed and grateful that he hooked us up and sent these my way to review and talk about with you guys. Honestly, great fragrances. I'd go check them out. The Beach Bum, of course, is a wonderful summertime fragrance, but even some of these other ones. Objectively, honestly, I believe these are worth the pickups, and you guys need to check these out if you're looking for cheaper fragrances that still have the quality and longevity as more expensive fragrances would. So go check out Essential Obsessions' new Cheap Thrill line. Thank you to Kevin once again. I so greatly appreciate it. And his website will be down in the description below. So I hope you all enjoyed this week's review. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on that road to 2.5K. And I'll see you all in the next one. God bless.